Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Oh my God. What's today's date? Jesus. July the 29th, 2024. This is going to be a speed read through Monday Night Raw. First news and note, CM Punk, WWE Vault. He wrestled the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, in a tryout match. It was actually the Road Warriors tryout match. He was just kind of there. It was in 2003, so this was around the time Hawk was having his troubles. And I guess they were trying to make a big comeback, and Vince wanted to see what they got. So Punk and this fella, I forget what his name is, were the two jabronis he threw in the ring with them. And to see the Road Warriors actually selling for these two small guys, actually trying to show what they can do, while also, still looking strong and going over, it's crazy. But a lot of people have been offended by the concept that the Road Warriors have to have a tryout match in 2003. Have to realize, man, these guys, they were basically a nostalgia act at that point, And Hawk had been so down bad and so untrustworthy that Vince wanted to see what they can do. I remember they did do a comeback eventually where they ended up putting over, was it Booker T and Rob Van Dam or somebody like that on a TV show or something. But it was an interesting visual to see. And so much better than the rest of this show, because at least it was one of those crazy things like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Something actually happens. On this show, well, nothing happens. We start with Seth Rollins wearing women's clothes because you have to have a drag show to start the Olympics. You also have to have a drag show to start Raw. There's a big argument between these guys who claim that they hate each other. Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. The Rollins, basically, to shorten this thing up, said that there are no rules. The only rule is that he is the law. He might count outs. He might not. He might, do disqualifications. He might not. Then Punk said, well, I just don't want your help. Regardless of what you do, just don't try to help me. And there was a no-touch rule in place. So when Drew McIntyre flashed the bracelet and CM Punk wanted to put his hands on him, he had to stop. This was 20 minutes of the show. I know a lot of people they like CM Punk. I'm not a huge fan of this segment here. The crowd seemed to be taken out of it too. This has been going on since November. This is about to be CM Punk's first singles match since he came back, not counting his house show matches. And the heat on this thing is actually coming down. Maybe it's the crowd, maybe it's Minneapolis, but the people, they didn't seem to be with this. The whole point of this was Seth Rollins, I am the law. He's Judge Dredd in drag. Who cares? Rhea Ripley was upset about Liv Morgan destroying the clubhouse. She's still also confused why Carlito's still hanging around. Judgment Day has all these assorted feuds that they've involved with, and now they're trying to figure out who's going to do what. Carlito was supposed to be the guy that was going to fight Sami Zayn, but it was a miscommunication, and that ended up being Dominic. And then Carlito got the job of fighting Jey Uso. Then we got a promo from Liv Morgan where she claimed that Dominic Mysterio ripped her heart in two, and she's going to get revenge on him by destroying Rhea Ripley, and she was burning stuff. Rhea Ripley cut a promo saying that the Liv Revenge Tour is going to end at SummerSlam, and she's going to get her revenge for Liv taking 3 months of her career away. They're really trying to turn Liv into an actress with this thing, with the fake tears and the fire and all this kind of stuff. Her talking about how she put Dom on a pedestal, but he's just really Ripley's bitch. I mean, it's all very interesting stuff. It ain't sticking to your ribs. It don't feel like this actually matters. To the matches. Carlito was defeated by Jey Uso. Then Jey Uso ate his apple. Dominic Mysterio was disqualified in his match with Sami Zayn. And I don't think I've seen a wrestling match in a really long time where there was a distinct lack of muscle in the two people involved. Dominic Mysterio's arms look like linguine. And just look at the state of Sami Zayn. You know, he just looks like a homeless man, jumped in the ring and started wrestling. People were taking pictures of him in Tokyo, showing off his bald spot. Like, the guy's 40 or something like that. Now, I'm not going to bemoan him for going bald at 40. That's the appropriate age to go bald. If you're like, I don't know, Luke Gallows, who's going bald at like 18, that's a problem, man. That's just trash genetics. Same time, we got Braun Breaker talking about how he basically wrestled with one arm tied behind his back at Money in the Bank. He didn't take Sami Zayn seriously. He said that Sami Zayn is already preparing for life outside of WWE, but doing his stupid comedy show. I can't believe Sami Zayn is going the Mick Foley route. You remember Mick Foley used to do stand-up comedy too? The Foley one-man shows. I wonder what happened to that. Anyway, Sami Zayn says that he did a comedy show before he beat him the first time, which I'm like, wow, he just shitting all over Braun. So, after Sami Zayn and Jey Uso fought off the Judgment Day, Braun Breaker came out there and he got into a little bit of a scrap with Sami Zayn. And then he got bumped out to the ring by Sami Zayn as well. What a disaster. This is not turning out very well. The Creed brothers defeated Otis and Akira Tozawa. They're fresh off their trip to the Bloodsport, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Hey, I enjoyed the show. Thought the show was pretty good. I thought it was better than Raw anyway. The Creed brothers showed a lot on the Bloodsport. You guys should go and watch it. In any event, they defeated Akira Tozawa and Otis. Oh boy. Chad Gable then abused Otis post-match because we didn't get enough of that, which includes slapping him. Maxine Dupree then slapped Chad Gable. Before anything happened to her, the Wyatt showed up, which includes Dexter Lumis with dreadlocks. I popped for that. He also looked like a completely different person. He actually looked like he had lost size. Like, he wasn't as tall as he usually is. He wasn't as bulky as he usually is. He looks like somebody out of a Rob Zombie movie. The transformation of Dexter Lumis has been amazing. It was legit. I legit liked it. But we got some physicality because Rowan got physical and Gacy was there as well. Chad Gable then swears up and down he figured out who the members of the Wyatt Six were and then challenged them to a six-man tag because Adam Pearce already knew because they're under contract to WWE. It's like, is this thing supposed to be spooky and supernatural or no? How does this work? If you know who these people are, why did you let them murder all these security guys so many weeks ago? Why did you let them kill security guards? Why haven't you put them in matches so far? In any event, the matches was made, so the Wyatts are not going to debut at SummerSlam, but instead will debut on Raw. Triple H, I don't know. Look, it's a difference of philosophy. He wants to try to use the Wyatt Six to pop a number, but a lot of people are starting to feel just a little bit, I don't know, weird about the fact that SummerSlam is probably going to be close to 4 hours, and it's still only like 5 or 6 matches on the show. And everything is pretty straightforward in terms of singles matches. There's no tag matches. And some people want those tag team title matches to be on the show too. I just don't like the way they structure the cards. I don't like how they put things together. And it just seems like these matches are going to be really long. And to further my point, they're going to have a 3-hour pre-show. The countdown to SummerSlam starts at 4 o'clock. It's going to be 3 hours. Who in their right mind is going to sit through that? Not this guy, I can tell you that much. Sheamus was defeated by Bronson Reed because he got hit in the face with a shillelagh by Pete Dunne. Oh my God. I want to walk right into the sun off that one. Zelina Vega, she got jumped by the League of Extraordinary Lesbians. They beat her up and stomped her arm because she was talking that yin-yang about how they had to stack the deck against her because they know she's a threat. Trash. In any event, the League of Extraordinary Lesbians, they wrestled Lyra Valkyria and Casey Squared and defeated them. Afterwards, they were accosted by Damage Control, who swears now that they run Monday Night Raw because that's the gimmick. Everybody claims that they run Monday Night Raw. Judgment Day re-won Monday Night Raw. And now they claim that they run Monday Night Raw. Ridiculous. You have all these writers, all these producers, all these people. How are they not checking your verbiage where everybody's saying the same thing over and over again? In any event, Dakota Kai challenged Sonya Deville to a match. Sonya Deville caught a lot of flack last week for how she botched a powerbomb because of the way she held on to Lyra Valkyria, but clearly there's some kind of miscommunication where she didn't know what Lyra Valkyria was going for at the time. So it is what it is. The Miz is going to be hosting SummerSlam. We got more Miz humor with R-Truth. Oh, God. R-Truth thinks that it's going to be an in your house and there's hors d'oeuvres and all this kind of stuff. Who cares? Xavier Woods was defeated by Karrion Kross, but first he got dressed down by old Earthworm Jim. First, he says that Kofi isn't there because Kofi knows that Xavier Woods is getting all the attention. Then he says nobody wants to be in Minnesota and that he wants Xavier Woods to join Final Testament tonight and to tell everybody that the power of positivity is a lie and tell Kofi he should have retired after he lost the title in 6 seconds. During the match, he told Xavier Woods he was a piece of trash and he was the worst King of the Ring in the company's history before he actually won the match. Oh boy, this has been rough. This has been a rough thing. I don't even understand why Xavier Woods is being recruited or why anybody cares about Xavier Woods in this group. I don't think anybody does. Nobody cares about this group at all. Kofi is continuously injured. The lack of consistency of announcing weights in hometowns, like they announced it here. I think they announced it in some other matches too, but they're not doing it all the time. So it's really odd. Damian Priest cut a promo backstage somewhere, I guess. Talked about Gunther mentioning his past, saying that, he's tired of hearing about his past from somebody who knows nothing about it. And that being called street trash means being called a Puerto Rican badass to him. And that Gunther is a product of Korean engineering and that he's fought for everything and he's willing to die for it. Gunther cut a promo in an empty arena because he needs to focus, apparently. He has to go to a collision taping in order to cut this promo. He says that he offered Damian Priest the easy way out, but he knows that he's emotional and he needs to use this business to heal his childhood trauma. I mean, he's like a Twitter guy at this point, the Twitter psychologists. He told Finn Balor that he was destined for greatness at one point, but since he's surrounded himself with Judgment Day, he's become just like them, nothing but street trash. Finn Balor swears up and down he was going to handle Gunther. He didn't. He got choked out instead. The match didn't feel like the epic match that we kind of wanted from these two guys. I mean, you're doing this match right before SummerSlam where Gunther is about to wrestle for the title, so it's obvious like Gunther was going to win. So they probably going to have to run this thing back eventually if Finn Balor ever gets increased on the card at any point in time, which is not likely to be anytime soon. All right, so Finn Balor's being choked to death. Damian Priest comes out, beats up Gunther to end the show because we must have brawling. This show just had nothing going for it. The only thing that really happened was we got to see the Wyatts unmasked and got to see them do wrestling moves, but that's about it. Everything else in this show was dry as old graham crackers. I mean, Jesus Christ. The opening segment might get some people's spurs jingling and jangling, but not for me. I'm tired of hearing these guys talk. I'm tired of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk talking at each other. I'm tired of Seth Rollins talking at these guys. Again, this stuff has been going on since November. I'm tired of it. It needs to come somewhere close to the end. You have to realize that these Raws are 3 hours, and it's not the Monday Night Raw of like 1995, where you could have a feud go on forever, and Raw is only 1 hour, so you touch on a thing here and there. Now Raw is 3 hours. We're expecting a lot more from the shows, and again, it's another ensemble cast where nobody feels like a star, and nobody feels like they're the star of the show. They just feel like they're a part of the show. Damian Priest is the champion. He gets a backstage segment, and he doesn't even get the ring to himself at that point. Gunther is the number one contender. He also does not feel like the star of the show. The show just doesn't feel like it has a star on it, or like the closest thing to it is Rhea Ripley, because she's on the show more than anybody. So I'm guessing her and Liv Morgan are basically positioned as being the stars of the show because they get most of the TV time. Of course, we know that a disproportionate amount of that time is Judgment Day. But the shows are incredibly boring. I forgot Sami Zayn was the Intercontinental Champion. Triple H just makes it easy for you to forget things that are happening on his show because they're so in the background. So you kind of forget, like, there are tag team champions on this show. Did they appear? Well, Finn Balor appeared, but there's no tag team feud for them to feud with. There's nothing going on in that department. So even the women's championship, it's about a personal issue between the two parties, not necessarily about the title. And then you spend an inordinate amount of time on these 6-man tags and a bunch of other stuff nobody cares about. It's hard to sit through these shows. It's tough. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys later.